Welcome to the bold analysis. There is a report that has just emerged now, and the fact that this report is getting imagized, or rather the fact that this report is getting coverage, is what should really worry this country. But let's look at it. 403 out of 1,406 officers are coming from Kalenjin community. This one in respect to the controversial KRA June recruitment. This is the report. KRA advertised some positions last month, and the recruitment was done. And I remember people crying out that some people that were supposed to be in that list, or even underwent training, went to Eldoret and they were stranded. So those who followed that story was trending. Now, at the end of it, some very good a report has emerged, which I do believe came from still the KRA, about the tribal, the tribal numbers within that recruitment. And this is what it says. Kalenjins formed the majority of Kenya Revenue Authority's June 2023 recruitment of Revenue Service Assistants and the National Assembly's Committee on National Cohesion and Equity has learned. This is a report by the National Assembly's Committee on National Cohesion. Submissions by KRA to the committee showed the Kalenjin had 403 out of 1,406. Then Kikuyu had 385. Then there was Luya 134, Luo 76, Kenya Somali 71, then Kamba 64, Meru 55, then Embu 18. Then if you take 18 Embu and Meru's 55, that one you have 72. If you add with 403, because that is still the larger game, and then the game had 486. Then Kalenjin 403. The rest 176 going down. The report was released, and the human resources onboarding process concluded on the June 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, what this report shows is what has always been discussed extensively in this country about shareholders. And when we mention about the shareholders, there have always been a point of, is it really the way things are going to run? Now, a report that recruitment has been dominated by the two tribes has always been defended by Rigathi Gachagua, saying if the Gema have numbers in the National Assembly, or rather in the National Assembly and in terms of recruitment, it is the same way they also have majority in committee, or rather in the cells. So if it is about balancing, then they should also release those who are in the cells to balance the number. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an interpretation into this. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. Thank you very much for supporting this podcast. I have learned just this evening about there is a message that has just been sent to me. I want to read it out. Kindly let me just read it before we proceed. What is it? It is about the family of one gentleman who was killed during the protest. I think I was, yes, had got it. Orinda, yes. This is a report about the plight of Orinda. I am Zablon Okoth Orinda, the brother to John Onyango Orinda, who was brutally beaten by the police at Nyalenda Estate during Maandamano. I kindly request for financial support towards this send-off, contribution towards the funeral of John Orinda, and the number there is 0710 760496. Is known as Zablon Orinda. The parents can be reached at 0751 560668. So that information, so I'm just reading out. So those who can reach out, kindly can reach out. I'll also try to reach out and maybe do a more follow-up on this. Now, Ruto is wary of a looming rebellion from his voting bloc. And his voting bloc is Kalenjin and Kikuyu. This is what happened to William Ruto, to Uhuru Kenyatta, because a venom was planted that despite of the region voting overwhelmingly for President Uhuru Kenyatta, he allegedly abandoned the region. And this gospel was sung and spread across the valleys and the rift and the mountain, from the valleys of the rift and the mountains of the central. And that was meant to manage the transition politics between Uhuru reign now to what became William Ruto's or Kenya Kwanza's reign. What is happening, why you see there is a lot of effort to do political smoothing of the two voting blocks, is because the reality here is that election, the campaign messaging was anchored on a lot of hope messages. And it was a bit of hell, it's a bit of heaven being built here. But reality is, when people in government, when people got government, they realized that much of that which the sweet talk in the campaign trail could not be actualized. So to avert a situation of you have also not helped us, because yes, that is one of the things that is normally used to emotionally whip and to detach someone from his or her voting bloc. So one thing that has been used to make sure that William Ruto rebellion is actually built around, to avert a rebellion around the presidency of William Ruto, is to make sure that the two tribes are getting the fair share. In fact, let me tell you, the moment this report emerges, it is one of the strategies that is coming up to ensure that people don't complain about other things. You know, there have been the cost of living. There have been other issues that are cross-cutting. There have been the issues of police brutality. But if a report is emerging that you people from your place are being given the majority because the president and the deputy president comes from your tribe, then it seems to have been caged to believe that you are safe. Well, in real sense, it is a political script. The other observation I can make from this is the ripple effect of skewed appointments. I know we have always, and political pundits have argued, that William Ruto got himself in a hole by doing recruitment on tribal and just, political and the tribal alienations, political alienations and the tribal inclinations. That was largely made, and we have always insisted that it was a very bad precedent, because it will not help the country heal from one man. It will not help the country heal from winner take all. So we've gotten into winner take all by accident, because these are things we could have averted. What you can see, and there is also another recruitment of the KDF coming probably next week, nationwide recruitment of KDF. We are really looking at a lot of attention, and Duale has said that they will not allow politicians around those places. I'm even wondering, even if politicians are supposed to influence, must they be there physically, or they will influence in the back room or above board? So this ripple effect, this is one of the effects of skewed appointments. When you appoint people from that tribe, they tend to attract, when they are favoring, they also still favor people from that place. And of course, it is not something that has been featured. It's something that has always been laid bare. Cronyism and tribalism will gonna kill this country. Cronyism and tribalism. Because, let me say, and I want to use a very wrong example. One of highly contentious point that has always been raised is the security officers that were in charge of security operations in pro-Azimio areas could be people that came from the other tribes and not the Luo. That has been in the corridors, and that's why even civil society organizations and human rights organizations have been raising that question, that we need to get the full audit. Now, The moment we shall embrace, and the report coming that, it's people from 2 tribes that have been favored and this and that, we're already balkanizing the country. We are putting the country into another mode that will not be very good, and it's not a welcome, because if someone somewhere will have a feeling that unless it is my person from my tribe is the president, then otherwise I don't have anything, then we are making our elections become a do or die. Now, it's a wrong precedence, because that is scary. Next week there is KDF. I understand before the end of the year there is going to be some another employment of recruitment of some clerical officers. Now, different offices will actually emulate that. The more we normalize the majority from some 2 tribes taking the lion's share. Remember, we are 42 tribes. And the Constitution of 2010 also envisioned the balance, the tribal balance, I think. Equity, equity in allocation of resources. And this is what happens. When we have people that are taken from one tribe or some few tribes then taken care, you will always realize that resources will always revolve around that. For example, it is very clear that if you appoint many people from tribe X, and these people are at the point, they are in the seat of influencing others, they will always influence across those tribal lines. So we are getting it wrong. I wish we can actually unpack this. We can actually undo this by making sure that we rush to Parliament and get a legal framework that can help us to cure winner takes all, especially in allocation of government resources. One of the resources of government is employment. Government is one of the most prominent employers in any country. So it cannot be underestimated when tribalism is clearly sinking at the heart of Kenya Kwanza. But then, as equally some people say, I should not be surprised, and neither you should not be surprised, because it is about the stakeholders anyway. Thank you.